Well, welcome to Sketching with Gretchen. This is Arlo part 2. We have drawn Arlo in a previous video, and what we're going to do now is we're going to paint Arlo. But you're welcome to color him with chalk pastels. You could color him with markers. You could color him with crayons. I'm choosing to do watercolor because that's what I'm most comfortable with. So when you're working with watercolors, the supplies you're going to need are a tray of watercolors, and I have just regular Crayola paints here. You're also going to need a cup of water. If we're using watercolors, we have to use lots and lots of water to get our colors activated. We need paintbrushes, and I have a medium-sized paintbrush here. And then you'll also want a paper towel, something just to dab your paintbrush on. All right, so I think I'm going to paint Arlo with a combination of some oranges, some yellows, and some browns. Now, I'm not working on watercolor type paper, so my paper, because of the wetness of the watercolor, may buckle slightly. So I'm going to get my paintbrush wet first. It's helpful if you kind of push it towards the bottom of your water dish just to get all the air bubbles out. You really want it full of water. You want to load up that brush with the water, and you want it drippy. And then pick the color you're going to start with. Typically you'll start with the lightest color, so I'm going to start with the yellow. I'm going to what I call massage the paint to activate the color, and I want to make sure that I get the brightest color I can get. So you're going to want to do this for a little bit if you start out with some dry watercolor paint. And then once you see that your brushes are turning the color of the paint, then you can start painting. So I'm just going to start and just loosely paint around the edge and start at the top and work my way down. Now what you'll notice is I frequently load my brush up with more water and more paint. You can tell when your brush is drying out because the color will be less vibrant, and it might show some brush strokes in it. And that's a good time to dip your brush into the water and then again into the paint. So I'm just going to kind of coat his head. I'm starting with his head, trying to avoid the eyeballs. They are already black with the Sharpie, so they won't cover up because the watercolor is transparent, but I don't want to put any extra paint on top of the eyes. And I'm just going to work my way down to the nose. Again, I'm going to try to avoid the nose. You can see how quickly this covers. Okay, from here, before I start on the body, I'm going to add some, I think brown, maybe some orange. I'll do orange first and I'll add brown. So clean your brush out completely so it's all clear. You can tell by dabbing it on the paper towel if you get it completely clean, so that's a good sign. And I'll pick up a little bit of orange. Again, I have to massage the paint so that it activates the color and I can get a nice color of orange in my brush. And then while my yellow is still wet, I'm just going to add some orange in various places. And I want to do this while the yellow is still damp so that they blend better. Now if I waited till the yellow is dry, it's not going to blend. It'll show up, but it's just not going to blend like you'd like it to. So I feel like I have enough orange on there, so from here I've got a clean brush and I'm just kind of blending all over. So I don't want him really orangey, I just want him like a yellow golden retriever type color. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up just a bit of brown and try to give him a little more of a 3D effect, make him look more real. I'm going to add some brown just like down between his ears and his head here, and maybe down at the bottom of his ears. Kind of give it a more of a 3D look to make him look like has shape, so he's not so flat. I might even put a little bit here on top. Now I could kind of go outside my lines here and go into the fur a little bit, but I want to make sure I blend those colors still, because that fur has color as well. I just don't want to go too far outside. Okay. Pretty happy with that, so I'm gonna move on down to his body and just use the same method. I'm gonna pick up my yellow first. I'm gonna paint his body all yellow first. Make sure you have plenty of water in your brush. Reload your brush with paint and just work quickly. You can do this with tempera paint too, really. Just use whatever you have on hand. Okay, now I'll add a little bit of orange. Just enough, and I'm gonna put a little more orange just below his nose and mouth, nose and chin, just to, again, kind of add a shadow to it. Make him look a little more like he has some shape. All right, now pick up a little bit of brown and add that up here and down below. Maybe a bit on the side. All right, so there's our Arlo all painted. Now we'll let him dry, and you'll want to make sure that he stays flat, stays somewhere where he won't get, the paint won't drip off. If I were to pick this up and hold it straight up and down, all of my paint here, this liquid, would all drip down. Now some of this, you can see how the paper's starting to buckle, and you can see puddles forming here. I really don't want the puddles. So if you see something or you have an excess amount of paint sitting on your picture, you can just dab it up with a paper towel or a tissue. So I'm just gonna do that a little bit here and there. There we go. And then I'll let him dry. All right, so the next time we meet, we will be decorating glasses for Arlo. So we'll look to see you soon and have fun painting Arlo. See ya.